This is my favorite coffee cup. My wife got it for me. It's even laser engraved, Cup of Joe on it. I absolutely love it. It keeps my coffee warm for hours. It just has one problem. Now, technically, the problem isn't with the cup itself. I dropped it, and it's got a little dent here. That causes it to sit unevenly in the cup holder. I need a solution to fix that problem. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Why not just put a napkin in the bottom of the cup holder, set it on that? That'll eliminate the problem. And you're right. Somebody else might be thinking you could just put a rubber band around it, set it in there. That'll probably stabilize it and fix the problem. You're also probably right. Someone else might be thinking of using something like Flex Seal. Okay, probably nobody was thinking that. I think I can solve this problem pretty quickly and pretty simply with a 3D printer printing a small base in TPU. So let me try that. To start off, I'm gonna get a couple of measurements and I'm just gonna measure the base. Okay, so it looks like the outside diameter of the base is about 75 millimeters. We have this radius here, and I don't know how much the radius is, but if I use the depth gauge on my micrometer, I can see that the radius is 5 millimeters. So I think with those two measurements, I can just print a little cap that goes right here on the bottom of it. And then when I take it with me in the car, I won't get that annoying rattle any longer. So let's jump on into Onshape and let's create a new document and call this, we'll call it Coffee Rattle Preventer. That seems like an excellent name, doesn't it? Coffee Rattle Preventer. I like it. All right, so I'm gonna select the top sketch and I'm gonna go ahead, or the top plane, I'm gonna add a sketch here. Start it right in the middle, and we said that was 75 millimeters. So I'm just gonna make that 75, and then I'm going to go ahead and finish that sketch. This is gonna be a pretty easy design. I'm gonna extrude it, and then we said it only needed to be extruded about, let's get because I want it to go all the way up to about here, about 16 millimeters. So let's just do an even 15 for our first prototype. So we'll do 15 millimeters here. Then we're gonna go ahead and add a fillet to this. And this fillet's gonna be 5 millimeters. So that's looking pretty good. And then I'm gonna go back to my extrude. And the extrude, I wanna select thin. Yeah, and so that gives me like a thin wall. So I only want my thickness to be about 3 millimeters. Actually, you know what, let's make it 2. I'm printing this in TPU, so I'm not really sure if this is gonna work. It may not. My inside thickness is 0, so that gives me the nice thin wall that I'm looking for. I'm going to go ahead and add another extrude, and I'm going to turn off the eye to this sketch, select that, and then for this, we're going to do solid, and we'll do 3, and we'll select this face. And that means that this other extrusion, I want to do instead of 15, because I want it 15 total, so I'm going to do 18. Because we got to account for that 3 millimeters that's in the base. And then the fillet, we'll edit this fillet and we'll select this edge, and we probably need to do 8 millimeters to count for the base. I had to reorder those parts where I was extruding the base first, the wall second, and then I could add the fillet. Okay, but I think this is looking pretty good. Let's go ahead and just add a bevel here so it's a little bit easier to get in to get it around the cup. And then here I'm going to go ahead and add another fillet, but I'm just going to do this one like 1 millimeter, and that'll just give it like kind of a nicer, like kind of polished look. And then obviously in here I need to do the fillet as well at 5 millimeters to account for the actual radius of the cup. And so this creates just a nice little base that I think will work really nice. So I'm going to go ahead and rename this part to Coffee Rattle Preventer. And then I'm going to go ahead and just export it. And then I've started using Orca Slicer, which I'm really liking quite a bit. If you haven't checked it out, I would recommend it. It's been a nice slicer. I have it linked to my Octoprint. So we'll just do create a new project, and then we will add to the build plate our Coffee Rattle Preventer. We'll go ahead and slice this using just my standard settings. I don't think any supports will be needed here. I don't think this is a strong enough radius. See if we can get away with that. And then we can go ahead and print and just upload it right to Octoprint. It's going to take 1 hour and 31 minutes and cost 44 cents. I'm going to print it I want it in TPU. I have some black TPU, but before I switch to the black TPU, I'm gonna just test print it in white PLA that I have just to kind of see how it comes out, make sure I got a good fit and everything like that. Let's get that printed and see how it looks. So it's the next day and my 3D print is done and it's looking exactly like I thought it would look. There is a little bit of on the edges. I don't know if this is like, if it comes up on camera, but there is a little bit of where I felt like the layered adhesion struggled with that radius. So it probably could have benefited from a little support, but all in all, it's really not that bad. Very rarely do I print something that fits the first time. So let's just see. I don't expect this to fit. Yeah, it looks like it's pretty tight. Oh, but it does go on there. I probably could add a little bit of clearance because if I push this on anymore, I don't think it's going to come off. Although I am planning on printing it in TPU. Let me see if I can get this off. Yeah, okay, so it comes off, but it's a little tight. I am just going to print in TPU and see what happens. And I'll see you guys when it's done. Okay, so I hadn't been watching this the whole time, but clearly you can see that we've got a pretty serious clog. It's causing the filament to all wrap up over here. I'm gonna cancel this prank. So it looks like I had a little bit of a clogging issue there at the beginning, but it seems to have resolved itself. So I'm gonna let this one roll through and see if when everything's all said and done, we get a decent first layer. So we got another clog. So I went back into Orca Slicer and I drastically slowed down my print speeds. I think the print went from being printed in 2 hours, 2.5 hours, to being printed in 5 hours. But I'm on layer 5 right now and I haven't had a clog. So it looks like slowing down my print speeds, at least at this point, has solved the problem, but we'll see. So it's done printing. Other than some really bad stringing, man, it looks good. Let's get this off and see if it fits. All in all, I'm pretty happy with it. Yeah, there was some bad stringing here. I've got that cleaned up. And yeah, you can definitely see that the edge of it there where that radius is, that radius didn't really come through in the TPU. But does it fit? Oh man, it fits perfect on there. Check that out, fits perfect on. So the only thing I don't know is, will this fit in the cup holder? If it does, it's definitely going to stop the rattle, but let's go test it and see. So here we are in the car with the TPU base on the Cup of Joe coffee cup, and we're going to see if it fits. And it looks like it fits really, really well. The TPU base does come off, so it has a little bit more of a snug fit than I wanted. TPU can handle the heat of a car, and there is absolutely no rattle whatsoever. I wonder if I can get the TPU base out. Yep, yeah, it comes right out. I can put it back in and fits super snug. So I think the problem's solved. So there you have it, an extremely complicated solution to a very simple problem. A napkin easily could have fixed this, but why fix it with a napkin when you can 3D print something? Until next time, I'm Joe, you're the internet, and bye.